Making these teeny tiny pumpkins is so simple that even a beginner can do it. And I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to make them. Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to Yarn Over. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these tiny little pumpkins. It really is super easy. All you need is a few supplies. If you want instructions on how to make a large one, like this guy right here, cute, right? Just let me know in the comments and I'll do a video on how to make the larger ones. But for right now, let's go ahead and get started making these little guys, okay? Let's go. And get started making these adorable little pumpkins. And as you can see, the yarn says a lot, right? So go ahead and choose whatever color yarn you want. You don't have to be traditional and use orange. You can use green, or this is an old yarn that I had in my stash. This is a great stash buster, by the way. So if you have some interesting yarn that you're not quite sure what you want to do with it, go ahead and grab it. So you're going to need some yarn. You're going to need some stuffing to stuff your pumpkin with. You're going to need a stitch holder and a tapestry needle, okay? And of course, you're going to need a crochet hook. So whatever the yarn says for you to use, I like to go down 1 or 2 hook sizes to get a tighter stitch. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to make mine with orange yarn, but as I said before, you can go ahead and use any yarn you like. And I like to double strand it. You can single strand it, but I like double stranding it because this is kind of thin. So I'm going to begin with a magic ring, a magic loop, a magic circle. It is called many things. And if you want a step-by-step tutorial on how to make a magic ring, I'll leave a link in the description. So I have my magic ring and I'm going to chain 1. That's going to lock it in place, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and make 6 single crochets in this circle right here. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have 6 single crochets in my loop. I'm going to take this yarn here and I'm going to tug it closed. Then I'm going to find my first stitch that I made and I'm going to insert my hook into the top of that stitch. And sometimes it may not be that easy. Make sure you go under both legs, okay? And I'm going to slip stitch. To slip stitch, all you really have to do is pull the yarn through all the stitches on your hook. And that's a slip stitch. So I now have 6 single crochets in my center. Okay, now I'm going to chain 1. And I'm not going to count that as a stitch. And I'm going to make 2 single crochets in every single crochet all the way around for a total of 12. Okay, so here's 2 double crochets in the first one, 2 double crochets in the next one, and all the way around. And I'm going to meet you at the end of this round, okay? Okay, I'm at the last stitch here, and I'm going to make 2 single crochets for a total of 12 single crochets across. All right? And then I'm going to slip stitch. And a slip stitch to the top. Through, all through. Now I have round 1 was 6 single crochets and round 2 was 12 single crochets. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and place a stitch marker. I'm going to go ahead and place a stitch marker on my last stitch so that I'll know when the round has ended. Okay, so now we're on round 3. I'm going to chain 1 again, and I'm going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. 2 single crochets. 1 single crochet. Okay, and I'm going to do that all the way around. 2 single crochets, 1 single crochets all the way around. Okay, we're coming up to the stitch marker. So I've got 2 single crochets. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and make my last single crochet. To complete this round. And then I'm going to put my stitch marker back. Okay, now I'm going to join it with a slip stitch to the top here, and I've completed this round. I'm going to make another increase round. Okay, I'm going to chain 1. So I've chained 1. I'm going to make 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch. That's 4 stitches I've done. Now I'm going to make 2 single crochets in the next one, 1 single crochet, and 1 single crochet. Let's try that again. 2 single crochets and 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you at the stitch marker at the end of the round. Okay, we're coming up to the last ones. Here we do 2 single crochets and then 1 single crochet in each stitch. Here's the last one. I'm going to remove my stitch holder and put it in there. So at this point, I like to make, so now we have 4 rounds, right? And at this point, I like to make continuous rounds. So I'm no longer going to join it with a slip stitch. I'm just going to keep going around. So having a stitch marker is really helpful to let us know when we are beginning and ending a round. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to place my stitch marker here. And I'm going to do one more round of an increase, one more increase round. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in my next stitch, which is right here, I'm going to make 2 single crochets, and then in the next 3 stitches I'm going to make a single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 in the next 3 stitches, and I'm going to do that all the way around, and I will meet you at my stitch marker. So now I have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've completed 5 rounds, and I have increased in those 5 rounds. So I've gone ahead and made the bottom of the pumpkin. Now we're going to start to make the sides of the pumpkin. Now, here's a tip. If you want to make the pumpkin larger, like this one, just, well, one trick is to use thicker yarn. One trick is to use thicker yarn like this one. But another trick is to just make this base a little bit larger, okay? And I have a video that shows you how to make these circles larger, and I'm going to go ahead and link that in the description, and it will show you how to make the base larger. Okay, so but if you would like a complete tutorial on how to make a larger pumpkin, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I will be more than happy to do that. So now we're no longer going to be doing increases. Okay, now you can go ahead and put a stitch marker so that you can keep track of the rounds. I don't usually need one. And what you're going to do is you're going to do a single crochet in every stitch all the way around. A single crochet in every stitch around. You see how it's curling? So at this point, I like to flip it. Okay? So that I'm starting to make it look like this. You see that? Okay. So just keep going around and around. Let's go ahead and do another 5 rounds. So we just did 1. That's just straight single crochet. So let's go ahead and do 5 more rounds, and I will meet you at the end of the 6th round, okay? Because we've done 1, we're gonna do 5 more, and I'll meet you at the end of the 6th round. Just continue to do single crochets all the way around, okay? So I've gone ahead and I've done an additional 5 rows for a total of 6. Now, as you can see, I didn't move my stitch marker because it's going to help me keep count. That's just me personally. So I remember that I placed my stitch marker on the first one, so I had to do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've done 5 rounds. When you are crocheting in a circle, it's called a round, and when you are crocheting a flat piece, it's called a row. Okay, so if you are working on a larger pumpkin, go ahead and make this taller. If you want a more shallow pumpkin, then you can make this smaller. All right, it's up to you, but I chose about 6 rounds, so I have 6 rounds of single crochet, and I'm gonna make 1 or 2 more single crochets. And what I'm going to do is, see, and that's what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this and put this here, because we're going to start decreasing now. Okay, so we increased on the bottom, we did straight single crochets, and now we're going to decrease so that we can go ahead and get this top part done here. Okay, so let's begin our decreases. In order to decrease, we're gonna do the opposite of what we did here. Okay, so we are going to do 1 decrease, and in order to decrease here, I'm going to insert my hook here, pull it through, but don't complete that stitch, and insert my hook here, pull it through. I have 3 loops on my hook, and I'm going to pull it through all 3. That's 1 decrease, and then I'm going to go ahead and make 3 single crochets. Okay, and that was 3. I'm going to do another decrease. I'm going to insert my hook, pull it through, insert my hook, pull it through, and then pull my yarn through all 3. And then I'm going to do 3 more single crochets, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Here's 3. I'm going to do 1 more to show you. 1 more decrease. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and pull it through all 3. Now do that all the way. Make a decrease, single crochet 3 stitches, and make a decrease. And when you get to the stitch marker, stop. 2 and 3. Okay, so we've completed that one. Place your stitch marker, put it back to remind you of where you were. Okay, I'm going to make another decrease round. Okay, all right, so I'm going to insert my hook, pull it through, insert my hook, pull it through, and pull it through 3. Now I'm just going to make 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Okay, all right, and then a decrease, and then 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Go ahead and do that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, now you can go ahead and place the stitch marker back so you'll remember Don't worry if your numbers are not precise, because this is just a pumpkin. This isn't an article of clothing. Okay, so now let me just pull this out a little bit. Okay, so now I think it's time that we start stuffing our pumpkin, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some stuffing. And so, you know, if you're enjoying this video, this tutorial, go ahead and hit like and subscribe so that you can go ahead and see more videos about more great things that I make, more crochet techniques. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would like to see me make. You know what? Go ahead and let me know what color yarn you use for your pumpkins. I'd really like to know. You can make this a very stiff pumpkin, or, you know, you don't have to put a lot of stuffing. It's up to you. You decide. Okay. I think that is enough. And by the way, I love coffee. So if you would like to support me and support my channel, you can go ahead and click on the link in the description, and buy me a coffee. I would really appreciate that. Okay. So I think that's pretty stuffed, right? All right. So let me put that stuffing over there. We're going to keep going. And we're going to make another decrease round, okay? You also stuff this with little bits and pieces of yarn. So I'm going to make my next decrease. Okay, remember? Yarn over, pull it through. Yarn over, pull it through, and then pull it through all 3 loops. And then I'm just going to do 1 single crochet. Then we're going to make another decrease. And then I'm going to make 1 single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way around. And I'll meet you at the end, okay? I've got my last stitch here. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and place my stitch marker. And I'm just going to make a decrease all the way around. So every stitch is going to be a decrease now, okay? And what we've done is we've mirrored the bottom. Okay? So if you made the base a little bit larger, your decreases are also going to be a little bit different. So again, let me know in the comments if you would like a video on how to make a larger pumpkin. Okay, and decrease. And my hair gets in everything. And I'm going to remove the stitch marker. That's going to be my last stitch. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can go ahead and use a piece of yarn. That works great, or a paper clip or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and make my last decrease right here. Okay, then I'm going to I like to make one chain to lock that stitch in, and pull a little bit of yarn out and cut it. Okay. All right. Then you're going to grab your tapestry needle and you're going to close up that hole. Ha. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook into the outer loop. Okay. And every time I do that, I'm going to give it a little tug. Okay. We have a circle. And we have another step. What I'm going to show you, so this should be longer. I made a mistake. And what I should have done is wrapped it around a few times to make sure I had enough. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the first one. So what you do with this yarn is you take it and you pull it into the bottom here, and you pull the needle back up through the top right here, and you give it a tug. Now pull it tight. Okay, like that. Okay, and then find another spot that you like and wrap the yarn around it. Put your needle in. Make sure you bring your needle back out to the other end. And give it a tug. Okay? And try and pull it really tight. I'm going to show you what to do in case you made a mistake like I did, okay? So this is what you do if you've cut enough yarn, and then you just keep going around and around. Just make sure you pull it tight. And when you get, so this is where I'm going to put my stem, okay? So it doesn't really matter if it's neat and tidy. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie this off here. I'm just going to go ahead and make a knot to hold that in place, okay? So like I said, if you cut the yarn big enough, which I did not, you can go ahead and do it that way. But I'm going to show you what to do. I'm glad I made that mistake. I'm going to show you what to do if you made that mistake. Okay? So if you've made that mistake, just go ahead and cut some yarn. Make it kind of long. Okay? All right. And make sure you have it nice and long. And again, find a place, the spot where you want the stem. I like this side looked really pretty. This side looked less pretty. So this is where I'm going to tie a knot. Just go ahead and, yep, you can tie a knot on the top. You know what might be cool is if you can go ahead and use a different color yarn too. I have another orange here, so you can go ahead and use a different orange or a white. That might be really interesting. Let me know in the comments if any of you did that. And then just tie a knot. Okay. That'd be cool. I think the next pumpkin I'm going to make, I'm going to use a different color yarn on the outside for this part. Okay? So it's not the end of the world if you forgot to cut the yarn long enough. There's always a remedy. And then go ahead and do the same thing. Find a spot here, go into the bottom, bring it into the top here, and pull it through. Make sure you pull it tight. Find another spot. And you can do as many, as few, or as many as you like. You can do an odd number or you can do an even number. For some reason, I wound up doing odd numbers on all of mine. They just looked better. Okay, I see this looks a little bit big. I'm just gonna go around and going from the bottom up to the top. Okay. Yeah, not a problem. Pretty cool. Okay. So not the end of the world, as I mentioned. Okay. And then I'm gonna tie that off, clip off your yarn ends, and this pumpkin is just about done. All this pumpkin is missing is a stem. And if you want to learn how to make the stem, go ahead and click on this video right here. And I also have a video on making a different kind of pumpkin if you're interested in that. You can go ahead and click there. I'll see you next time. Te veo.